Yesterday, Jeffree Star revealed his new Cremated Palette on his YouTube channel, and people had some thoughts. Hello, people of the interwebs and surrounding universes. It's your host here, Emily B, back with another video. Today we're going to be discussing the drama surrounding the new Cremated collection by Jeffree Star. Yesterday, Jeffree Star revealed his new palette and collection on his YouTube channel. Everyone who supports Jeffree was very excited about the launch, obviously because all of his releases are super popular with his fans, while on the other side of the coin, the people of the interwebs who are not Jeffree stans kind of took issue with the palette. Now, the palette itself is a smoky gray tones palette that is called Cremated. And in and of itself, that is not a bad name. I think for a smoky, dark eyeshadow palette, it's actually very on brand for Jeffree. But some people took issue with the fact that this palette is revolving around death, cremation, burials, things of that nature whenever we are going through a global pandemic where thousands upon thousands of people have passed away. I personally 100% see why someone would be upset with the concept of the palette and the collection, the names of the eyeshadows, and things of that nature. I'm not here to kiss Jeffree Star's ass. I'm not here to not call him out. We have to remember that in the grand scheme of things, eyeshadow palettes take nearly a year or more to produce, package, create formulas. Whenever Jeffree was creating this palette, he didn't even know that the pandemic was going to be happening, let alone that his springtime launch would be around the same time that the most cases was happening in America. There was no way for him to know that. So no, I don't think this palette was created to mock or taunt anyone. I don't think that he had malicious intent whenever he created this palette. I think he was just trying to go for a different vibe in his collection and wanted to do a monotone palette. And it just so happened that his release was around the same time that things were getting really bad in the world. So people are upset that he revealed his palette right now while we are still in the middle of this pandemic, which again, I can 100% understand is a sensitive topic. Death is a sensitive topic always, but especially when so many people are experiencing that in high volumes in their communities, in their personal lives, due to this virus. But Jeffree did say in his reveal video that he had pushed back his initial launch to now. He was going to do it at the beginning of spring, and he pushed it back until practically the beginning of summer because it's May now. It is no longer really springtime. We're pushing into the summer months. So if he intended to do this as a spring launch, this was really the only time for him to do it. A lot of people were saying that he didn't have to have it as a spring launch. He could have pushed it back until Halloween. He could have pushed it back until the fall months, and it would have been even more on brand, on character for the more spooky season. I can 100% understand and get behind that. But knowing Jeffree, he probably has palettes upon releases set up for the next few months going into the fall season. So if he wanted to release this palette in the spring, then it was because he obviously had other collections, other products that were going to be coming out during the summertime, during the fall time, during winter time. He's very meticulous and calculated about when he drops his products. So logistically speaking, I totally get why he wanted to release this product now, because it would probably interfere with the big launch that he already had set for the fall time, and business-wise, that would just not work out. Knowing Jeffree, he would probably still sell out because people really ride hard for his products, but I still get it. A problem that people had with the palette itself is that a lot of the shades look like repeat shades, and I totally see this. Whenever I was looking at the palette during his reveal video, I was looking at it and saying,
that shade looks the same, that shade looks the same, that shade looks the same, that shade looks the same. What's going on here?
Because in most Jeffree palettes, you see a distinct difference between every single shade in that palette. So for him to have nearly repeats in his palette was shocking to me. But whenever he did his swatches on the skin, you could definitely see differences between each shade. All of them had different undertones, cool tones, warm tones. So I'm not going to say that they're repeats of each other. They just look very similar in the pans. Now, there were a couple of the gray toned shades that I feel like could have been left out. Not everybody needs a warm toned gray, a cool toned gray, a green toned gray. But I don't think Jeffree's palettes are necessarily made for the everyday consumer. I think they're made for collectors and people who love Jeffree Star, for people who ride hard for Jeffree Star. They're almost like merch. So people collect these palettes, and whether they're gonna use every single shade in the palette, that's probably not the case. They're going to still buy it. All in all, I think the palette itself is a really cool concept. I think it's different than anything he's ever made. So that part, as a makeup enthusiast, I am 100% on board with. The social repercussions that it's had, not so much. Alrighty guys, that's that on that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Were you offended by the name, timing, and all that jazz of this launch, or do you not really care? Give me a like, subscribe, all that good jazz. I hope you have a fantastic day. I love you so much, and until next time guys, much love.